I'm not feeling you today, and I would really appreciate it if you just left me alone because I heard what you did yesterday. Like, hey y'all, it's your girl Bree, and I am back with another video. Today, I'm gonna be doing a story time. This story time is so messy, y'all. It's about this daycare job horror story that I just left. Like, this job has to be on the list of one of the worst jobs I have ever had. When I got this job, I thought it was going to be like a good job to have, you know, because I am going to be a first time mother and I do not have like that much experience with kids, like newborns to toddlers. Like, I had babysat my teacher's children who were like 6+, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have really experience with like changing that many diapers, you know, bottle feeding, like working on like developmental skills and stuff like that. And I also thought it would be like a very good job to have, like, because I am minoring in education, and it was like at a preschool. I was like, oh, okay, this would be good experience, you know, to give me for the future, and you know, let me actually get like firsthand experience and actually see what it's like being in like the teacher position. So there were so many things. Like, when I had my first day starting the job, they randomly called me. Like, it's summertime, y'all, so I'm in the bed till like a good 10:30, 11, and they called me at 9 and was like, hey, can you come and work a 10 to 2 shift? And I'm in the bed like, 10 to 2, like, it's 9, like, do y'all know what time it is? Can we not do this tomorrow? But like, I'm so still kind of like sleeping discombobulated, so I like was like, is there any like other shifts available? And she's like, yeah, we have like a 10 to 6. And for some reason I thought maybe she had said like 2 to 6 because the 10 to 2 was like a 4-shift window, so I thought a 4-hour shift window. So I'm thinking maybe she said 2 to 6:30, 2:30 to 6:30 for some reason. But no, she said 10 to 6:30, and I had said yeah. But I remember at my like orientation, like at my interview, when I got the job, they had said I needed blue scrubs, and I had not ordered my scrubs yet because, y'all, like, they called me like 3 days after my interview. Like, my background check cleared and all that, and they called me up. It was like, come to work, 10 to 6, the full 8. And so I ended up calling her because I'm like, dang, I'm not really in the mental space to go today. Like, y'all didn't call me. Like, usually a job will call you and be like, hey, your background check has cleared, everything's fine, can you come in like on Wednesday? Like, it's Monday, and then like, can you start on Wednesday, you know? Because originally I had put that I could start like maybe the week after that because I had a ultrasound appointment, and I didn't want to like schedule off. Like, I didn't want to like get the job and have to like schedule off too early. So I was like, let me go ahead and start working after. And so I called and I'm like, hey, I don't have scrubs yet. She's like, it's okay, jeans are fine, like, come in. I'm like, damn, all right. So my first day was cool. Like, they introduced me to all the kids, kind of like gave me, you know, an overview of what my tasks would be, how to do the tasks, where everything was, this, that, and the third. So the first week was cool. But I feel like that was like a facade, like, big cap, because by the second week I peeped that all that they was giving me in the first week, they ain't really like that. So I had noticed my first week there that all the kids was like coughing and sneezing and runny nose, snotting. And they had told me like kids usually get sick like when they teething. So I'm like, okay, I mean, I guess, but like,
that's suspicious. That's weird.
you know, COVID is coming back. It ain't went nowhere, but you know, COVID is getting worse. Like, where I'm at, the cases were rising at this point. And so one girl was like, yeah, you know, COVID this, but like, the kids usually aren't, you know, carriers of it. And I would say this was right before like Delta was really like getting the kids, like before like those statistics were coming out that the kids was getting sick. So I'm not gonna lie, like my first 3 days there, I did not wear a mask. And my boyfriend and my mom was like, you know, you really need to wear a mask. I don't want you to get sick. You know, you're pregnant. Your immune system is already like in a compromised state because of your hormonal changes and the way your body is changing. So I'm like, yeah, you're right, but nobody else is wearing one. Like, I don't want to feel out of place, but like always, like I know now that my health is important than what anybody else is doing. Like, not put myself first, but like if that's what I need to do in order to stay healthy, then that's what I need to do, you know. And so I got sick, y'all. Like, I ain't been sick in a while, but like I noticed that I know I'm finna start getting sick when my throat is like scratchy. Like, I'm starting to do like the, you know, like scratching, my throat is itching, so I'm like making that noise, like trying to like relieve that itch in my throat. Like, you know, just my sinuses was weird. Like, I'm sneezing and doing this, that, and the third. Cause like I would have to change the kids, and I'm noticing that they like sneezing on me, rubbing their face on me. So like the close contact was just, you know, easy for me to catch whatever they had. And so I woke up one morning, y'all, feeling like, ooh, I felt so bad. Like, I was congested. I was coughing so much that it was making me like vomit. What else? I had a bad headache. I felt like I had a low-grade fever. My nose was running. Oh yeah, I had an earache that was like making like my tooth ache, because you know your sinuses is like right above your like back teeth, so it was making my back tooth hurt so bad. My ear was hurting, my throat was hurting. Like, I was effed up, y'all. And so I called them on the phone. This had to be like, I feel like I went through my first week all the way. I think I had like started noticing my sickness in my second week. And I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling too good, y'all. Like, what had happened was I was asleep, like it was at nighttime, and I started feeling these symptoms like really bad. And I was trying to figure out, you know, what can I take, because, you know, pregnant women can't really take all the medicines out there that are used, you know, for cold and flu. So I was kind of taking some Robitussin, but you're not supposed to take that much of it because it contains a little bit of alcohol, so it's like only so much that I could take. You know, I was taking, you know, the standard Tylenol for the headaches, and I had took a Benadryl that night before I was supposed to come in. But it was, my shift was 6:30 to 2:30. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, I was still up, like trying to remedy my symptoms. I was feeling so bad, like I couldn't sleep. Like, it's hard to sleep when you can't breathe, and I'm not the type of person to breathe with my mouth open. Like, I don't know, a certain way that I can really sleep comfortably, and it just wasn't happening. So I called them at 6:30, and I was like, hey, I'ma still come in, but I didn't get no sleep last night. Like, I feel really bad, so can I come in and work, you know, at 10:30? And she's like, well, if the schedule says that you're supposed to work at 6:30, then we really need you here. And I'm like, okay, that's fair, but like, my performance is not going to be the best. You know, I'd rather come in feeling better than coming in and not wanting to work at all and not really doing anything because I feel so bad and I'm tired. But I'm like, I'm still coming to work. It's not like I'm not going to come. So she's like, but I will allow you, you know, to get some rest, but in the future we need you there. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I went back to bed. And on my way, I had woke up around like 8:45 so I could go to my house, because I was at my boyfriend's house, to get ready. And they calling me like, okay, are you still coming? And I'm like, yes, girl. I told you I was coming. I'm coming. And she like, well, can you work till 6:30? And I'm like, I mean, shit, no, I guess. But I felt so bad. And when I got there, they was making me like do housekeeping. Like, my position was like teacher/teacher aide, and some women had already told me that some of the people that was in the housekeeping position was supposed to be in the housekeeping position, but since there was such a large turnover rate with them like losing teachers and then being understaffed, that a lot of the housekeepers moved on to the teacher position. So they asked me if I can go like clean the the 2 bathrooms that we had in the halls for like the teachers and stuff. So I'm like, I mean, I guess. So I cleaned those bathrooms, and I had went back into the classroom that I was in, and they were like, oh, they told me to tell you that if we saw you, if you could go clean all the restrooms on the preschool side. So there was one bathroom over there, and I cleaned that bathroom, and they were like, no, I mean all the restrooms in the classrooms. And I'm like, what? Like, hold on, wait a minute. Why? Because when I went into the classrooms, there was a schedule in the classroom that said, like, so this teacher, like, it was like a classroom in the middle of 2 classrooms. I mean, a bathroom in the middle of 2 classrooms. So it's like one teacher is supposed to clean Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the other one got Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm like, why am I in here? And I'm on the nursery side, not even on the preschool side. Like, I ain't got nothing to do with them. So I'm like, okay, I mean, I did a little some, but mind you, I was feeling bad. But after I did that, they wanted me to staple stuff in the hallway, just like a lot of like mini tasks. So after I had did that, which I was already like, this is not the position that I applied for, but you know, I didn't argue with them. She let me come in later, so I was like, okay, that's gonna be that. She ended up letting me leave at 2:30, so I was like, cool. So I think I went to work for like a day or 2 more, and I was like, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the doctor and see. I'm gonna do a walk-in appointment because I feel worse than I did the next day, to see if they would have some like antibiotics that I could take rather than these over-the-counter medicines not working. So when I was talking to the doctor, because like it was some way, like, because COVID is getting worse where I'm at and everywhere really, they had me talk to somebody to actually see the doctor first. And she's like, wow, you sound really congested, so I'm gonna put congested on there too, because I just said head cold, sinus infection type stuff. And so the doctor ended up telling me that I was gonna feel like that for 2 weeks because I was pregnant and my symptoms were gonna last longer. So I ended up finding out that one of the students and the teachers had COVID and RSV. Like, it was just, I don't know, precautions were not being met. And another big problem that I had noticed was, like, after I had came back, after I got my I had asked the doctor if I can get some, you know, sick days, because when I had called in, she was like, well, what are your symptoms? Like, she was a doctor. I'm like, what do you mean, what are my symptoms? Like, how can you help me? I'm telling you, I feel bad. I don't want to get these kids sick. I don't want to get any of y'all sick. Like, y'all should, like, understand. Like, you hear the way I sound on the phone. And so I just finished my prescription, y'all, so I'm still, like, a little, like, nasally, like. But she was like, well, we really need you for splash day. Splash day is where these kids play in the sprinklers. Like, why do y'all need me? She was like, so if the doctor says that you can come, you need to come in. And I was like, girl, boo. Like, girl, bye. We'll see what the doctor's saying. So when the doctor told me I was going to be sick for 2 more weeks, I was like, can you give me today, which is a Thursday, and Friday off, so I can at least, like, try to get my rest up and try to feel better? And so she gave me those 2 days. And when I called them, I was like, hey, yeah, I have a doctor's note for today and tomorrow. I'll see y'all on Monday. And she was like, so you're not coming tomorrow either? And I'm like,
bitch, are you dumb?
Pardon me?
Are you dumb?
I think she's dumb. I think she's dumb.
Are
you, like, medically speaking, are you, like,
I'm not trying to be mean. Like, are you dumb?
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb. Do you think
she's dumb.
you heard me say no, I'm not coming tomorrow or today. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Like, so I brought that doctor's note. And at this point, this was like my 2nd week there, 3rd week there. And I noticed that it was just different. Like, they kept putting me in this classroom with this lady that wasn't doing her job. I noticed that when I would change the kids, like, the way it was set up, we were supposed to, like, switch off. One hour I would do the diaper changes, the next hour she would do the diaper changes. So I noticed, like, when I was first there, that a lot of kids had diaper rashes. That, like, if you properly clean a child, they're not gonna get diaper rashes. Like, y'all are sitting there, like, letting this acidity, you know, from their bowel movements eat them up. And I'm like, dang, all these kids have diaper rashes. Like, what's going on? And I soon realized is that she was not doing the diaper changes for these kids. Like, I would do mine, and I would have my Apple Watch. So I'm like, okay, I did the diaper changes for 9. It's 9:45. There's 14 children in here. She's not moving. She wanted to sit down and do paperwork all day, and the paperwork was not hard. Like, she could have, like, there was so many breaks, like at their nap times, when they were like doing the little recess, playing on the floor, that she could sit down with the kids and like have the opportunity to fill it out. But she was just being lazy, or she would just go and feel the kids and see who was with or not. But like, that you gotta actually physically check and see it. So I went and talked to one of the office staff, and I was like, I don't want to work with her no more. She's making me do a lot. Like, it's 14 kids in here, and I feel like I'm just the one repeatedly doing a lot of things while she's sitting around doing paperwork but really being lazy. And on top of that, she got a 2-hour break. So at splash day, the kids come in bathing suits, and she'd be like, yeah, can you change them all? And I noticed that she would just write dry, 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 wet, 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 wet for all the kids, and not change them, just like putting something on the paperwork. So I'm like, yeah, this bitch is lying. Like, I'm not working with her. And they're like, well, let me know if they would come in and like say something, but they'd be like, okay, so let me know if she's doing anything else, you know. And I was working in these other 2 classrooms for a little bit, and I was like, I really like these classrooms. Like, the women that y'all have me with, like, are doing their job. Like, I would prefer to be over there. And so they ended up telling me that the kids needed some familiarity, and that I was doing, since I said I was doing so well my first week, this is where they were gonna put me. And I was like, okay, yeah, granted, I did tell y'all that, but it was my first week. Like, y'all obviously are putting up a facade for me, you know, so I would like it my first week. I'm like, but I told y'all by the second week that I didn't like it, so that doesn't matter, you know. I'm actually learning, and I'm seeing what y'all really about, so I want to be somewhere else where I'm more comfortable. One teacher I was with, she would be like talking bad about the kids, like calling the kids ugly, just like saying just nasty things about the kids. And I was like, okay, yeah, I don't want to be in here with her either. Like, it was just so many places that I didn't want to be. And I feel like, sure, maybe I was making it hard on them, but at the same time, like, when I'm working in a place, like, I wanted to enjoy it. Like, if it's just bad energy, like, it's just not a good atmosphere. Like, these women are grown, acting just nasty. Like, these kids are 18 months, 6 months. Like, why are you talking bad about these people's kids? Not changing these people's kids, burning these people's kids with the bottle warmers on accident. Like, y'all doing a lot. Like, and I was working here so I could, like, you know, develop some skills to be a mother, and, you know, get a feel for what daycare is like, so eventually when it's time for me to put my child in daycare, I can know what it's about. But this job really just made me realize, like, I really don't want to put my kid in no daycare like that. But one of the teachers, I had worn my Apple Watch, and she had snitched on me for, like, texting real quick on my Apple Watch. But she would be doing it too. Like, so I'm like, why are you snitching on me if you're doing the same thing? But go off. And on my final couple days there, they had me working with this woman who was like 400 pounds. And I'm not fat shaming, like, I'm not saying anything, like, I'm mentioning her weight because she just wasn't very mobile. Like, it just wasn't a lot that she could do. Like, I had to pick up a lot of her slack. And so she ended up getting in a car accident, and so that made her even less mobile. And she said the doctor had gave her a leave for a week, but she didn't want to take it because she was gone for 2 weeks because she was sick and she needed some money. I'm like, okay, fair. I'm like, but they need to put you somewhere where you can be beneficial because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so she was trying to do the paperwork. She was like asking me if I could pick up the kids to go to help her change them. She'd get halfway through the changing of the kids and ask me if I could switch over because she was hurting. But then she would also ask me to feed the kids, change the kids, put them down for nap, get their food ready, get their bottles ready. So I'm like doing a lot of things. Like, I'm still learning and running around with my head cut off, you know, trying to get this stuff done.
I'm trying. I'm fucking trying. I've only been doing this for 2 fucking days. Like, shit. Give me a fucking break.
And so something happened with the paperwork. Like, the way she was doing the paperwork, we had a feeding schedule up, like, on a whiteboard. And you're supposed to, like write down when the kid is supposed to eat, and then, you know, erase it and put the next time. But as you're doing that, you're supposed to fill out the paperwork so you don't get lost. Well, since she wanted to do the paperwork, she got lost. One of these kids didn't end up eating, y'all, and I swear, like, I felt so bad about it. But the next day, I was off, and that teacher that had snitched on me about the Apple Watch, she was like, y'all didn't feed the kids, this, that, and the third. And I wasn't there to defend myself until, like, what was happening. So that lady, the 400-pound lady, was like, yeah, Brianna wasn't doing this, Brianna did this, you know, cover herself. And, like, that's a very human thing to do. Like, if a person's not there to defend themselves, obviously you're going to cover your behind, you know what I'm saying? So when I came in the next day, like, this girl that I was cool with at work was like, girl, they was talking about you yesterday when you wasn't here to defend yourself. She was like, I tried to defend you because, like, we was in the classroom next to each other, like, we share a changing station. So she's seeing what I had to go through, and she also had to work with this woman, so she know what she about. So I'm like, who was talking about me? And she like, the Apple Watch lady was talking mad stuff, talking about your little friend didn't change the kids. And we cool, but, like, it's not like we friends. Like, she knew my name. She was trying to be petty. So the next day, the kids, I'm like, not even, I don't have no kids. It's 6:45, and I'm just like, I'm putting the sheets on the beds. I have no children. I was in a rush that morning. I had left my breakfast, so I'm texting my brother like, hey, you can have the breakfast that I have. Like, I'm texting him real quick, like, I left it on the table. You can go ahead and eat it, blah, blah, blah. She come by, she's like, the texting on the Apple Watch really needs to stop. I'm like, okay, all right. And so later on that day, she called me again, just fiddling with it. And she was like, ma'am, I don't know how many times, blah, 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 I had to tell you. And I was already, like, she would come in throughout the day and just, like, nitpick about just, like, whatever. And I was kind of giving her the cold shoulder because, yeah, I found out that she was talking about me. I'm not feeling you. Like, don't talk to me. I'm not feeling you today, you know? But I was, like, trying to, like, keep my composure, you know, not act out of character at this job. But I'm my mama's daughter. Like, it's only so much I can take before my mama pop out, my daddy pop out. Like, I'm both, like, it's just too much gangsta in me, you feel me, to let some whole shit, you know, like, what? And so she walked by and she say something to me, and I'm like,
I'm glad you brung it up because I've been dying to talk about it for a fucking hot minute. First of all,
you was just on your Apple Watch. I'm like, you was just on your Apple Watch. She's like, well, I'm finna become a member of the office, so I was responding to a text message. I'm like, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she tell me something, and I'm like, respectfully, I'm not feeling you today, and I would really appreciate it if you just left me alone because I heard what you did yesterday, like, you know, something like that. And she's like, excuse me? And I'm like, respectfully, I would appreciate it if you just left me alone today because I'm not feeling you today because I heard what you did yesterday. And she's like, we play, like, nursery music, and she's like, I can't hear you. And I'm like, oh, well, you can come in, because I had a kid in my lap. You know, I'm still with the kids. Like, I'm on the floor doing what she's asking me to do. Because one time she got on me because I was, like, up, and the other woman was up. And she's like, you're supposed to be on the floor with the kids. So I was on the floor with the kids. But she always was finding something to, you know, to nitpick. And so she's like, oh, she made a noise when I told her she could come in. She was like, she looked taken aback. And she was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, like, yeah, I was just, like, not feeling this. Like, already y'all didn't want to give me my days off because I was sick. Y'all doing these kids wrong and lying on these sheets saying that they good to their parents when y'all really, like, don't need to even be working here. And so she's like, excuse me? She's like, I know you're not mad because I told you something about your watch. I said, no, it's not even about the watch. You was talking about me when I wasn't here to defend myself, and I don't appreciate that. So respectfully, I would like it if you would just leave me alone. She was like, well, you have to talk to me. And I was like, bet I don't. And I was like, watch how I don't. And she was like, she got on the floor with me and like crossed her legs or whatever. And she was like, so I said, yeah, I heard that you said this, that, and the third. You were saying that I didn't feed a kid when you got me with this woman that's not doing anything. Like, I did as much as I could as a new person, you know, trying to run this classroom. Like, I have not ran a classroom by myself, but that's basically what I did with 14 children. Like, what do you, like, it wasn't my fault. And I said, obviously, she's going to cover her behind because I wasn't here. And she was like, well, I hate to give you a write-up for being on your watch. And I was like, well, I hate to quit before you get the chance. Like, girl, boo. And she was like, well, I understand. I was like, it's just really unprofessional how you could talk about me, a new person, with my own employees. Like, you're not even talking to a person of staff. And then I heard that you called me this girl a little friend, and we're not even that close. And she was like, well, I just couldn't think of your name. I said, you're a member of the office, right? Look it up. Like, don't be catty. She's like, catty? You know, like, trying to, like, defend herself or whatever. And I was like, yes, catty. Like, that's what you're doing. And she was like, well, yeah, I apologize. Like, everything she was saying, I was just getting on that ass because you're not finna sit here and try to hold me and you're in the wrong. Like, sure, you told me to get off my Apple Watch. Yes, I understand that. But don't act like you wasn't talking about me, sis, because I know the truth. And so she was like, yeah, I apologize. Like, that was wrong of me, but y'all did forget to feed a kid. And I was like, sure, I apologize about that, but like, I really, like, it wasn't intentional. I wasn't being lazy. I was busy up all day on my feet trying to, you know, do this. He did get fed during the day. He just ain't get his lunch out, but he did get breakfast, his snack, and his milk and stuff. I mean, that don't make it no better, but still. And she was like, I know that she don't be working either. And she's like, I don't mean either, but you know, I know what she's about. Like, she kept saying like little slick stuff like either, too, but she kept correcting herself after because she knew I was gonna get on that ass. But she ended up apologizing for it. But at that point, I was just like, I see what y'all about, and I don't want to be a part of it. Like, since I already know that y'all are putting the blame on me, a new person, I didn't want to get into it. Like, I didn't want one of these parents, you know, to try to sue me because their kids didn't get fed. And like, when I had came in that day, another parent was like, can you make sure that she gets her lunch because she didn't get fed yesterday, which was on my off day. And I'm like, see, y'all just don't know what y'all doing. Like, this don't got much to do with me. Like, this is a problem for y'all. And I noticed that a lot of parents was pulling their kids out of the daycare. So I'm like, yeah, this is obviously a y'all problem. Don't want to be a part of it. So peace. Like, y'all really had me messed up. And I went and got my last check yesterday, y'all, and she made me fill out a paper that was like a form of resignation. And she was trying to be a little petty, but I filled it out, and I filled up the whole paragraph. And it's like I was on one side of the counter, and she was on the other side. And she was like trying to, like, she was really shook by how much I was writing. And she was low-key trying to read it. But I was like, yeah, baby, put in everything on here, the whole truth. You're going to read it when I'm done. But I got that last paycheck, y'all. They wasn't going to stop me from making my little money. But on to the next. That was just not a place that I wanted to be. It showed me the real truth about daycare. So y'all, I'm really apprehensive about sending my son to one. But, you know, that's only one of many. So hopefully I can find one that's good. But I hope y'all enjoyed that mess. Let me know if y'all have similar experiences from y'all jobs, daycares. I would love to hear it in the comments down below. But yeah, just a little quick story time for y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.